Somebody doing something better than
All right, good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. Hope you feel incredible this morning. My name is Zeke Ali. I'm a revenue acceleration coach. I'm a self-esteem development expert. I'm here to help you go further, faster, with less effort. You know what I mean? 7 days a week, that's what we do. Sometimes it's mindset, sometimes it's skill set, sometimes it's heart set. Right? We do this every day, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Some of y'all are watching on Facebook, some is YouTube. Regardless, man, we're here for the entrepreneurs. What I want you to do right now, even if you're watching a replay, right? Give me a replay, gang, and then let us know where you're checking in from, what kind of business you have, how it helps people. That's super important to the process, man, because we're trying to make sure everybody gets to know each other. We want to know where you're checking in from. We want to know where we got family at. Yeah. And then also make sure that you like, even if you're watching the replay, this is important. We want to make sure that you like it, that you share it with at least one person, because what that does is that starts to create this sort of system of accountability for you. Now you got different people that are holding you accountable to these new principles that you've decided you're going to insert into your DNA. I think that's pretty dope. So I want to suggest you try that. All right, I'm starting to check in this morning. Good morning, Queen. Okay, Mrs. Goins in the house. All right, good morning. Let them know what kind of business you have. Good morning, millionaires. Ohio checking in. Okay then. All right, Florida's in the building. All right, okay then. Good morning, Michelle. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Let them know we're here. We're getting started in a couple minutes. It's a good time to be sharing it with different entrepreneurs you know. Matter of fact, if you participate in the 90-day challenge, there's a whole thing we just now sent out about how to use the calls to grow your business. You know, I don't care what business you're in. This is a resource for you every morning. This is a way for you to plug in with your clients, plug in with your pipeline, plug in with your staff, plug in with your team. Think about it. This is the millionaire mind didn't know this is something to leverage right here. Vita Lachey in the house. Congratulations, Queen. I heard you just made it to that consultant level. I love that. Vita Lachey is like one of our newest consultants. Level 1 in the house. You gotta love that. Terrence, what's up, bro? Glad to see you in the house this morning. Yeah, okay then. Yeah, let Antoine know, Dex. Let Antoine know what's up. Oh, yeah. If you need a private chef, you got to holler at Mrs. Goins. Private chef, and then also a consultant for a financial literacy company. You got to love that.
Ain't no more to it.
I know I do.
Yeah.
What I will say, man, is that this would be a good time for you to be sharing the training with somebody, letting them know we in the house.
Yeah.
I think that would be smart. Let an entrepreneur know that we're here. This is a good time. We're getting started in less than 60 seconds, everybody. We're getting started in less than 60 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and get this party started.
You have something special. You have greatness in you. Hello, this is Les Brown, and you're in the right place at the right time because we're going to bring the millionaire out of you.
Please enter your... Thank you. Please announce yourself. Entry and exit tones are off. All participants are muted.
Okay. Good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. I hope everybody is feeling incredible this morning. I wish you blessings. I wish you peace. And I wish that you are able to maximize your potential. Millionaires, when we are climbing to the top, we all come across the same information that, damn, your attitude controls your altitude. We all hear that constantly, but things don't always go the way we would have them go, right? Things go topsy-turvy, things go to the left. And what happens is when this inevitable adversity starts to appear, we have a tendency to let our attitudes take a nosedive right along with the circumstances. All hell breaks loose, and we go ahead and decide to ride the highway to hell, right? What if we got to a maturity level where we realize that setbacks are going to happen? I don't care if they're big setbacks. I don't care if they're small setbacks. There's no problem that we can't make worse with our attitude. Is that a fact? Can somebody give me that in the comments? There is no problem that we can possibly have that we can't make worse with our attitude. Can somebody give me that in the comments? If you're listening in on the live line, that is a good place to start taking notes. There is no problem that we can possibly have that we can't make worse with our attitude. So what I'm saying is, along these journeys to the top, these treks to the peak, it's important that we have practical tools that can help us understand how to keep our attitudes in check. So yesterday, I gave it to you from Wayne Dyer. I gave you a bunch of mantras. Did anybody use any of that yesterday? Anybody make an attempt to use any of the mantras that we gave yesterday? Did anybody try to use any of those? That's some powerful stuff, right? Well, this morning, what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to give you like a few thoughts that you can consider whenever all hell starts breaking loose, because it's going to break loose. I'm telling you right now. Appreciate that, Vita. Appreciate that, Mrs. Goins. Allie and Vita always helping to keep everybody's attitude on point and holding everybody accountable. Appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm really happy to hear that. Because you're watching from Entrepreneurishment, we're not sure what your name is, but come and join us on YouTube so we know who that is. But we've all been there, where we realized that we want more and we knew adversity was coming, but now that it's here, it's like, damn, I know my attitude sucks right now. I know I had an experience like that yesterday. We were getting into a project, and I don't know, for some reason, me being the type of personality type I am, I can get a little irritated if things aren't going like the way that I want them to go, or think. But I had to literally like catch myself in that vibe and be like, "What are you doing? It's not a big deal." And then I thought to myself, how often does this happen? How often do I get into this vibe where I start to emanate this crappy vibe? I start to emanate this energy that I don't mean to give off. It may mean that I'm focused. To me, I may have been calling it that when really maybe I'm being kind of like a jerk. Maybe I'm being kind of like a type personality. You know what I mean? So even for me, I'm saying I'm no exception to the rule, just like I said yesterday. So I'm going to give you these 6, but I'm giving them to myself too. All right. So if you're ready, let's play along. I'm going to give you this first one. But when I give it to you, if you feel it, here's your part of this. You got to share it with somebody. You have to either share it with somebody in the comments, or you got to share it on somebody's page who you know needs this, or who you know you need to hold you accountable to this. Is that a deal? All right, let's get it. Here's number 1. The first kind of technique I'm giving you that allows you to keep your attitude up when the chips are down is take some time away. Take some time away from it all. Now, I'm not telling you how much time you have to take away, right? But what I am saying is we've all been there where you're going about your day. Everything seems like it's going dope. And then out of nowhere, disaster strikes, right? Or out of nowhere, you're in some dumb conversation. Or out of nowhere, somebody sends you some silly text message, right? And now all of your best laid plans start to tumble. Sometimes circumstances surprise us. But what happens is we end up reacting instead of responding. What does this do? This compounds the problem, because now, instead of just having a problem, we have both the problem and how we reacted to the problem. Because we reacted instead of responded. Can I get a witness? Is somebody feeling me out there? What happens is we tend to operate when we're reacting out of our weakness and not our strength. We tend to revert when we're reacting into our childlike behavior. And no, excuse me, our childish behavior. We tend to turn into that hurt little boy or that hurt little girl. That hurt little boy is like, you ain't gonna talk to me like that no more. Well, that hurt little girl is like, oh my God, when things happen like this, I'm gonna get punished. So let me just shrink into the shadows and do nothing. What I'm saying is, when we react instead of respond, we tend to operate out of our weakness instead of our strength. Do you hear me? We make decisions that aren't as well thought out. Do you hear me? We function with a bad attitude that says, I can't believe this is happening. Why is this happening to me? You hear me? But what I'm saying is, the next time all of that happens, just take some time to step back from it. Get some space on that thing. This will let you ration. This weekend on the Kaizen Academy, we're going to deal with emotional IQ. If you've ever wanted to raise your mental toughness, you cannot miss this weekend's class, because one of the things that you're able to do when you think about things critically is that your mind, your state of mind gets back in its proper place. Now you have the opportunity to choose your attitude as you face these circumstances. Remember, you don't have to do nothing right now. You can go grab a cup of coffee. You can go take a walk around the block. You can go and do some jumping jacks. Listen, fellas, we can go and find us a little quiet spot and knock out some push-ups. You hear me? Don't you say that to that boss. Don't you say that to that team leader. Don't you say that to that contact. Don't you say that to that strategic alliance. Don't you say that to that employee. You're in control, not the circumstances. And just like we said yesterday, it's okay to be upset. It's never okay to be cruel. But where does cruel pop up? When we're reacting instead of responding. Millionaires, the first technique I got for you this morning is take some time away from the moment. Here's the second one I got for you. Here's the second one I got for you. Millionaires. Hold up. First of all, did that make sense? Somebody give me some take some time. Take some time away from it all. Take some time away from it all. That's right. Take some time away from it all. Take some time away from it all. Yeah, Mrs. Calhoun, we with you. We with you, Queen. Man, Mrs. Calhoun said that, like, at the end of the day, she's still here. So she's here for a purpose. She's here with a purpose. She's here on purpose. You got to love that. Yeah, let them know, Diamond. Diamond life in the house. Welcome, Queen. All right. Yeah, good morning, millionaire. All right, here's the second one in, if y'all are ready. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the prize. Millionaires, one of the biggest problems that we face when we get into trouble, right? One of the biggest problems with circumstances that pop up that we consider trouble is that it takes your focus off of where it should be. I don't know how many of you know this, but in racing, right, when you're doing Grand Prix and all of that, you're doing 100, 200, 300 miles an hour. Maybe not 300 miles an hour, but you get what I mean? What they know is that when they get into trouble, when it starts getting crowded, when it's like something's going, the first thing that they know is that they have to keep their eyes straight ahead. If they look at the wall, they're going to crash into the wall. They have to keep their eyes straight ahead. Millionaires, if they look in the direction of that wreck, they're going to go in the direction of that wreck. They have to keep their eyes straight ahead. Horses wear blinders because wherever they look, man, look, if you see it, you're going to end up being it. You're going to move towards what you're giving your energy to. And one of the main forms of outward energy you have is your vision. It's your sight, right? Millionaires, you got to keep your eyes on the prize. That's how you stay out of trouble. If you find yourself getting down, if you find yourself kind of like being a victim of the circumstances, I dare you, sit down and write out what your goal is. Give some thought to how you can achieve it. Make sure you're keeping the first things first. I was asking my homie, you know, how you doing, right? And it's just one of the things we just say it out our mind. We just be like, oh, I'm doing well under the circumstances. It's like, what are you doing under the circumstances? Huh? We shouldn't be under the circumstances. We should be focused on the goal. We should be moving forward because that's what life is. You're not going to look back on your life in 5 years and 10 years and 20 years and be like, damn, I'm glad I caught that show on Netflix. That's never going to happen. You're going to look back at your life from month to month, from year to year, and you're going to say, man, I did that. And the things that you did are going to be the things that you did because you kept your eyes on the prize. The problem with problems is that it gets rid of our focus. The reason that they call the devil Beelzebub in Hebrew, right, is because Beelzebub means Lord of the Flies. In other words, you walk in a straight path and here come the flies that distract you. You got to practice GOD, goal over distraction. You got to keep your eyes on the prize. If you're ready for that one, give it to me in the comments. We're going to move on to number 3. Keep your eyes on the prize. Somebody give me goal over distraction in the comments. Do you believe in God? Goal over distraction. Because if your mind don't expand to match that goal, next thing you know, your goal is just making it to happy hour. You done traded in your happy life for a happy hour because of the fact that you done shrunk, your mind done shrunk to match that weak ass goal. Because you won't expand your mind to match all these dreams you got. If you have a big enough goal, you don't have the luxury to think small anymore because you're thinking big. You don't have the luxury to be petty anymore because you think about your potential. But if you don't keep your eyes on the prize, now you get to languish. You have the luxury to languish. Talk to me, y'all. And that brings us to number 3. Focus on solutions, not problems. Focus on solutions, not problems, millionaire. Focus on solutions, not problems. Can you hear me? You know how we always say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, negative circumstances scream. It's not just squeaking, it's screaming. When we face this difficulty, a lot of times what we do is just because we're human, right? Until we begin to evolve to a higher spiritual level, what we do is we tend to dwell on the problem. We talk about it. We fret about it. We give it our attention because we don't realize our attention is energy. Millionaires, your energy is your power. Listen to the word. We got to watch how we budget our energy. Instead of talking about problems, you got to take that finite amount of energy you got and you got to budget it properly. You got to put that thing on what you want to manifest. Not what, man, do you know they told my mentor that he wasn't going to make it a year 48 years ago? He's had stage 4 cancer for decades. He ain't listening to them doctors. I'm going to tell you something. It's a reason that they say a doctor's practicing medicine. There's a reason they tell you a lawyer's practicing law. I ain't going to be this is a whole other story, but I found myself in the legal system long time ago, and I remember the lawyer telling me what the devil is a lie. I ain't gonna go there right now, but this is what I'm saying to you. Instead of talking about your problems, talk about the solution. Instead of spending your energy, budgeting your energy on how bad things are, think about how good they are. Because every adversity has within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Not just you're going to reap what you sow. You sow a seed, you get whole forest. Instead of spending your time thinking about how bad things are, Think about how good things are. Don't have family or staff meetings about the problems and how big they are. Have family and staff meetings on the solutions and how we're going to implement them. Don't let yourself devolve. Don't let your team members complain. Encourage them to solve with an emphasis on the positive results that'll come from solving. Then take some time to solve it on paper so you can solve it in real life. But what you got to do is budget your energy in better ways. All right, now number 4 is a biggie, but somebody give me budget my energy better. Budget my energy better. We're going to start budgeting our energy better. We talk about financial literacy. What about spiritual literacy? What about spiritual literacy? We keep talking about the money part of wealth. What about the fact that you got billionaires committing suicide? You better get your head out your ass. You're not going to feel good about you're never going to feel fulfilled until you fully fill that hole you got in you. You can't fill that hole with sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You can't fill that hole with cars and clothes. That hole is shaped like your purpose. That hole is shaped like service. So that brings us to number 4, right? Number 4. Yeah. Budget my energy better. That's right. We got to budget our energy a little bit better and let them know. You got to let them know. Come on, man. You're never going to be fulfilled until you fully fill that hole. That thing's shaped like your purpose. You hear me? That thing's shaped like serving somebody. You say, I don't know my purpose. Well, damn it, man. If you're doing better than somebody else, use that knowledge, use that ability, use that skill set, use that pain. Your pain is your credentials. Oh, you don't have a college degree. But let me tell you what you got. You got all these experiences you've been through. You got all this life you've lived. Your life is a movie. You just don't respect it. Some of us can't put together some social media content because we think it's about creating. We don't get it's about documenting. We have such little gratitude for the life we live. Meanwhile, other people would love to know what you're doing, man. They'd love to know how it is to have to raise 5 kids. They'd love to know what it is to have a child with autism and how you handle that. They'd love to know the beautiful moments between you and your pets. Here's number 4, y'all. Here's number 4. Y'all feeling me? Where we at? We on number 4. Get some positive input. The mind tends to build on itself. Y'all know Isaac Newton, super Mason, Illuminati member. He gave us the laws of physics. An object at rest tends to stay what? An object in motion tends to what? Millionaires, the mind tends to build on itself. You don't learn how to win from losing. Some of us set goals that are way too big, man. And then what happens is we dash our hopes into little bits because you letting the game play with you, man. So let me tell you what you do. You got to go get some positive input. The mind tends to build on itself. So when we start to go in one direction, like worrying, it can be a slippery slope. We pull that thread on that thing. Next thing you know, that one little thread that we could have cut off becomes a hole. And this was a good ass sweater. But one thing we got to do is get our thoughts back on track. You hear me? When circumstances have you against this emotional wall, it's time for a state change. It's time to pick up a good book and read. It's time to put on some good music. Whatever external influence can get your attitude back on the positive side, you got to do it. Carpe diem. You got too much life in you. Millionaires, what I'm saying is that every morning when we're doing this thing and we're like, you know what I mean? I am now a millionaire. Woo! You know, it sounds silly if you're just joining us for the first time. But let me tell you what you just did. You just did a state change. You just changed your state of mind. And when your attitude starts jacking you up and you know yourself, to know thyself, that's the beginning of all wisdom. When you know your mind's starting to take you someplace because you're being animalistic, you're in fight or flight. You're not responding. You're not evolving past animal state. Millionaires, you got to take control. That brings me to number 5, y'all. Tell yourself the good. Give me that in the comments. Tell yourself the good. I know why doctors do it, but I don't know why doctors do it. How many of you have heard stories of these doctors coming to somebody saying, oh, I'm sorry, they're not, that your child ain't going to make it another 3 weeks. Hey, we're giving you 4 months to live. Well, I asked a doctor that one time, and what it has to do with is the fact that, first of all, we're such a litigious society. Apparently, there have even been cases where people have won suing for emotional duress because the doctor got their hopes up. Well, I think that's really messed up, man. I think that's really messed up, because what it does is it has the doctor insert these thoughts into your head, man, where now you dead on it. You already, right? One of the greatest internal powers we have is the power to control our thoughts. What I'm suggesting this morning is that you spend more time dwelling on the good things about your life or your career or your business instead of the problems. Science has shown that when you think different, your whole vibration changes. Y'all know the story about the parents. They had 2 children. They were twins. One was an eternal optimist, so it's annoying as hell, and then one's an eternal pessimist, so it's annoying as hell. So they said, we're gonna fix this. You know what I mean? And so what they did was they put the pessimist in the room with the horse, and then they put the optimist in the room where the horse used the bathroom, right? So sure enough, they check in on the pessimist twin, and he's like, this horse is too big, this dumb horse. You know what I mean? I can't, every time I try to get on, I fall off. This is stupid. And then they check in on the optimist twin, and he's digging through the horse. They're like, and they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I know there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. What I'm saying is, if all we have is the moment, right? Who's having a better life? This one right here got a whole horse, and they're so focused on the parts that's wrong with it. This one right here got a pile of horse crap. But because of hope, they're literally having more fun with their life. If you were to measure both of their brain patterns, this one has a better life. Why? It's because of the way they're thinking. And you can't have that type of enthusiasm without people coming into your life and being like, you know what? Here's a horse. Millionaires, you got to spend time dwelling on the good. You got to think about the positive things. You got to think about the things you enjoy. They give you a sense of happiness. You got to think about the things that give you a sense of peace. We used to say when we was little, there's this song, Count Your Blessings, right? Name them one by one. Y'all remember that? That's great advice. Because a lot of times what we do instead is we count our obstacles. What kind of fun is that? One more story, and then I'm going to give you number 6. Basketball team up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Obviously that's where, all the Ivy League, is all up in there in the Northeast and whatnot. And they had this basketball team. They wanted to study visualization. So they split the team into 3 different teams, equal members, equal talent, equal skill, equal size, etc. They had one team practice free throws like you normally would practice. They had one team do no practice at all. And then they had one team practice nothing but the free throws in their mind. Follow me. This is real quick, but this is profound. And this is important to our point this morning. Check it out. When they got done with the amount of time, I guess it was like a quarter, like 3 months or something like that, a quarter of a year. The team that had practiced the free throws and improved by, call it 20%. I don't remember the exact figures. That's not the point. The team that didn't practice at all did what you expected to. They stayed the same or got worse even. The team that practiced just in their mind improved the same amount as the team that was practicing physically. What does that tell us? Millionaires, that tells us that whatever you practice in your mind, because here's the problem. Okay, y'all get where I was going with that. But why the hell would you sit there and practice missing? Here's number 6 I got for you, y'all. You got to practice making a shot, y'all. You got to practice making a shot. Why the hell, when I can imagine anything, what I imagine missing? The devil is a lie. The devil is a liar, and he will fan the flames while you're sweating in the fire. Do you hear me? Here's the last one I got for you right on that note. You got to remember, circumstances ain't forever, y'all. This too shall pass. This did not come to stay. This came to pass. Now, unfortunately, you know what I mean? We can't remember that always in a moment. Sometimes it seems like we're going to be up to our eyeballs in the crap forever, when in reality, that never happens. If you look back at your past, you see all these pieces of proof that that never happens. There will be a time in the future when circumstances will change and you're going to be on the mountain instead of in the valley. That's how it go, baby. This should give you a sense of hope. This should give you a sense of power as you live and as you work. This is why we get aware of other people's biographies. This is why we get into other people's stories, not because we nosy, not because of the fact that, you know what I mean, we are entertained by their tragedies and all of this stuff. No, sometimes you need to understand the stories of the people we call great so that you see pieces of yourself in their journey. And then when it starts showing up in your journey, you say, damn, I know what happens next in this movie because this happens to everybody. I must be on the right track. Millionaires, all you got is your hope. It sounds pedestrian. It sounds like a cliche. It sounds like rhetoric. It sounds like one of them, a platitude. But I'm here to tell you, the things you think about, you bring about. You know, going into this next piece of the 90-day challenge, you know, me and wifey decided that you know, everybody might need to check out this joint called The Secret. It came out back in the early 2000s, but you know, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna put out The Secret. I'm gonna send it out through the text message system, etc. We got to get back into some basics. Y'all hear me? Going into the second half of the year, baby. And one day we're now in the second half of 2021. Can you believe that? Look how quick that happened. July is month 7. That means 6 months is gone, y'all. In another day. It's time for us to get back to the basics. If you haven't called in on a live line, here's how you call in. If this tries to charge you, just text message call me to this phone number. Just text it in like it's a regular number, 667-776-WIN1, and text message call me. Come do your affirmations, even if you never tried it before. It's worth it, baby. You know, in a world where it's normal to be obese and poor and miserable, we'd rather be a little weird. We'd rather be a little weird. So come on and call in. Just try it. Just try it. All right. Repeat after me, millionaires. Here we go. Here we go. I am so happy and grateful.